The news in it is pretty old and tired, and yet the vast majority of Americans still don't know it. The story is about how cable news is slanted and feeds into the idiotic two-party political system we have here in the U.S. But the new part is that now there's a new scientific study that proves it. Researchers at the National Bureau of Economic Research just released their findings in a paper called Bias in Cable News: Real Effects and Polarization. For the study, the researchers focused on right-leaning Fox News and left-leaning MSNBC and used data from Nielsen, a wide variety of government surveys, census information, broadcast transcripts from LexisNexis, the Congressional Record, and more. Years upon years of data went into their study. They charted words like big bank, government regulations, profits, taxes, minimum wage, private sector, and much more that were said on MSNBC and Fox, and then they correlated those words as they were used by congresspeople, noting the congresspeople's political parties. They used mathematical equations that were almost a foot long in some instances. They took into consideration a wide variety of demographics. They even accounted for how the actual channel numbers varied for the networks and how that might play a role into who watches what channel. They analyzed the crap out of all the data they used, in other words, in a highly scientific study. They did all of this hard work, so now there's scientific proof to back up their conclusions, which are facts that are old news to a lot of us already. They proved that cable news viewers who are initially centrist, who don't identify as Republicans or Democrats, quickly polarize according to the channels they watch. Those who watch a lot of Fox News are more likely to end up identifying as Republican. And those who watch a lot of MSNBC are more likely to end up identifying as Democrat. They also proved that if you start out to the left or right, you're more likely to watch the channel that spouts like-minded information at you. And finally, perhaps most importantly, they proved that all of this slanted news from the left and the right actually does affect how people go out and vote. In other words, they did a whole lot of scientific research to prove what some of us already know, that cable news blatantly feeds into the idiotic two-party system here in the U.S. So it's great that we now have this scientific proof, but unfortunately, the people who need to listen to this information the most are still watching the channels where they'll never hear it. Tonight, let's talk about that.